Here we go.
Hello.
I'm Pat.
I'm Will.
I'm Jeffrey.
It's Coffee Before Bed. We are discussing sleep and work schedules.
Yeah, we are talking about the anti-work equation. That's
Like
nerd
sleep,
talk
like
for you.
Lottery.
Yeah.
You know, if you would have won the $1.2 billion.
Right.
Then if you took the cash payment, it would have been like 400 million.
Oh, there was a story about a
I would
guy like that.
absolutely
Yeah.
take that.
Oh, yeah, I'm good too, but good lord. That's...
The cash out versus the annuity.
Annuities are for suckers.
Really? What are you going to, like...
Huh?
I mean,
Dude, I
either
will. Yeah,
way-
I would take the 400 million. Okay. The very first guy that I would hire would be a really good lawyer. The very next person I would hire would be an extremely competent and expensive financial advisor.
Well, yeah, you're never going
They're going to turn that into way more money than
Yeah.
you would get.
Even if you spend nonstop, you'll be great off interest.
I don't know, man. Well, no, if you took the money, yeah. So,
But even if you just took annuity, you get what, $1 million? No,
I think you
more
could
than
find
that.
ways
get
to
like-
spend $1 million a month.
Oh, what?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I could not.
So the problem with any kind of like income level, regardless of whatever, if you don't have like a plan in place, your taste will always rise to your income every single time.
Well, look at the history of lottery winners, and look how many of them end up as broke or more
Oh,
than
yeah.
when they started.
Yes, but look at what I did when I went to oil. I still don't buy for myself.
I understand, and
Yeah.
that's because there was. Look, I can't break down the psychology of it with you. I wouldn't do that, but I can speak in general terms where it comes to people scale pretty quickly.
They scale real fast. So,
$1 million a month, though?
fuck yeah.
How are you just like... not
I
even
guarantee
blinking?
you Musk spends that, no problem. He probably spends $10 million a month. So, maintaining all his shit. He says, oh, I don't have a lot of properties. Bullshit, man. So, I guarantee you that guy has got, like, some kind of fucking tastes out there. Just because he flies a private jet everywhere.
Right.
There's $1 million tag every single month. So,
And for him, it's absolutely worth it.
oh, yeah, it's totally worth it.
Yeah.
So, he offered that one guy to stop tracking him for, like, $5,000.
Wait, what?
So it's really easy to track aircraft because all the data is published by the FAA, and so all you got to do is get his tail number, and you can find him. And since he owns the plane, which was kind of like a rookie rich guy mistake, because
Yeah, you let Sears Holdings or
Yeah,
wherever.
yeah.
Well,
right,
maybe
yeah,
not Sears,
yeah.
But it's
Yeah,
Getting repoed next month.
you whatever company it is, you let them own that. Yeah.
you make it like the most boring thing, like Acme Fruit Company.
It's a little too on the nose. Because if it's
Right.
Acme Fruit, it's actually fruit or it's, wow, there's a lot of M60s in there.
Yeah, you go one way with cocaine
No, they're
and the other way with
transporting-
60s.
Transporting anvils.
Yeah.
It's just what people do.
You gotta.
Yeah,
How do you get them somewhere? Trucks? What are you, crazy?
That's how Gus Fring did it. So trucks.
I know
Chickens
what
on the
Gus
side.
Fring-
Yeah, I know. Did you ever watch Saul?
Yeah, I did. I just
Did you
haven't
watch the
seen
last season?
I just haven't seen the last season.
Yeah, I have.
Last
The,
two?
the last look, I'm gonna put it to you this way. You know the event. I can tell you the last thing that happened. Okay, a dude made a standing jump into the ceiling.
Right.
That's the last one you saw?
That was the ending of that season.
There's a whole other season after that.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, no, that dude who jumps through the ceiling
Yeah,
turns out to be the new big bad. He's great.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me. I'm not saying that I stopped there and I said like this is dumb. I said that moment was dumb.
Very
That movie was kind of dumb. He just like murdered, fucking Larry behind the counter.
It was this weird, just Superman moment that like, all right, well that's stupid, but it didn't invalidate the rest of the show. I just hadn't gotten back to it.
The season after that is probably the most violent season out of all of that and Breaking Bad. It does beat Breaking Bad in terms of violence. Well, maybe. I don't know. The last season of Breaking Bad was pretty violent too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It got pretty nuts.
Yeah, but season 5, I think that is, of Better Call Saul, that
That
one's
was
pretty
pretty-
violent.
yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of the newest seasons.
I haven't either. So I was curious if you'd seen those.
No, I guess I'm a season
Yeah.
behind you guys, and you
You are.
guys
Yeah.
are a season behind too.
Yeah.
All right, I'll catch up eventually.
No,
I
no,
can
I'm not
give you-
pressuring you.
I can give you the Netflix,
I was gonna say, what's the avenue upon which you guys are watching?
Netflix. Yeah.
or you can get your dollar sign up. Or did they take that away?
I don't know.
My $3 renewal.
Well, you know what? To be fair, Netflix actually did do some house cleaning, and they sort of made some commitments to being like Michael Jordan's old argument of Republicans buy shoes too. So
Yeah.
It's closest you're going to get to an apology.
yeah, that's true. I was expecting the handwritten, you know.
Eric's still waiting for his apology from the NFL.
That's with Roger Goodell still around. Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't blame him.
Gets a signed one. So, like when your cat dies. So the president sends you a letter. So I'm still waiting on my Trump letter.
Yeah, I don't know what version of a triangle folded flag you get from the NFL, but
It's probably got a black and a brown.
Literally a
stripe
paper
on it.
football.
It's a paper football.
so yeah, I guess that's the one that I want with the black flag with the red N on it. For Netflix.
Oh! I was like, Nebraska football?
My understanding was that like the Netflix CEO was actually kind of cool the entire time. So, and then it was like him and the Coinbase CEO basically told everybody knock the fuck off.
Yeah, well, especially actually, and Disney did a little bit, not remotely enough.
Disney
but-
posted a monstrously profitable quarter the other day.
Really?
Fuck yeah, they are back, baby. So,
and you know where they're making their money.
parks and cruise ships. I saw one of
Yeah.
them. Actually, that's a really tiny part of their business. So I had to go back and look at that. Same thing with what is it, Warner Brothers, who owns Universal.
Yeah.
The park's like nothing. So compared to how much money they make on other shit, I was like, oh man, I bet you this place makes a mint, and it's like 3% of their revenue. It was like shocking how low it was.
Disney does make more off their parks.
I would be surprised if it's more than 20% of the revenue.
I wouldn't think it was 20%.
Yeah.
But given how many fingers they have their villainous, fingers into what
The white
pies.
glove villain head.
I hate that company. They disgust me beyond anything else.
Really? You can't find a more villainous company than Disney?
Oh, well, I mean, we're not talking about cheese grating off my, Ghostbusters No through Comcast tattoo or
Okay,
anything like
yeah,
that. So
yeah.
yes, there are more evil companies, but Disney's up there, man. I think they're just absolute shitheels, just terrible.
Well, apparently they know how to make money. So
They own everything, so.
that's true too. They actually tamped down. I was actually reading through their report, whatever. Now that I got TV again, CNBC is on in the afternoon. So maybe that's where I got it from. Yeah, it was. I went to their site and looked at it. Where was I going with that?
You were talking about
They're
Disney,
expecting much lower growth in Disney Plus. So they've actually tamped all that stuff down.
Huh.
They said we've probably got the guys that we're gonna get. So
Oh,
yeah.
gotcha.
So now it's back to like recruiting children. So,
Well, I saw one of the things that I doubt you guys have watched. Maybe no, you haven't watched it. Bluey.
I've heard of it.
The dog?
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
one of the episodes was number 2, like on IMDb, like best
I know
show.
the story.
I
It
don't
was
know the story.
right behind the Breaking Bad finale.
Ozymandias?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It was that, and then followed by Bluey, one of the shows from Bluey.
Why?
So I guess somehow you have to have 1,000 votes to be eligible, and out of those 1,000, it was like 999 gave it a perfect 10.
Okay.
So it vaulted. So
Oh.
as soon as it could crack the list, it went whew,
So it just broke the algorithm.
and then they're just blaming some sort of anime people for going on and saying screw that, and just like
Yeah.
going in and putting one.
So you're gonna 8chan this place up real good.
So
I saw a fucked up thing about like internet advocacy today. I didn't read the entire article because I couldn't get past the picture of this chick who looked like a YouTuber but wasn't, and she had this fucking dildo in front of her. And so this was obviously about OnlyFans. Okay. So, all right, but it was like, is that a thing? It looks like a microphone, but it's not. So, but anyway, yeah, I don't have one of those accounts. All right. So, but the thing was that, like, apparently back in 2018, all right, when they started to get, did you see this? So you're nodding along here, so maybe you've heard the story.
Is this the Visa story or no?
No, this is no, it's not a Visa story.
Okay.
Oh, the Visa might be involved, but I didn't mention it in the article. All right. So, but anyway, the deal with OnlyFans on this one was apparently they've got a class action suit against them now, from a bunch of their competitors and a bunch of their content creators. All right, the content creators who would actually, of course, just like every YouTuber / Twitch player out there, creates multiple accounts, all right, and uploads the same content to all the accounts. They don't like that. Okay, no. All right, but in the infancy of OnlyFans, apparently this was kind of like fine. All right, so even though they don't like it, it's like, well, we need the viewers and blah, blah, and so we'll live with it. But then they did this sneaky bullshit where they turned, and there's apparently this nonprofit organization out there, all right, that's been around for a long time, that does this thing where they try and flag stuff on the internet that's related to like fucking ISIS and shit like that. So like legit terrorists. Okay, so they try and get YouTube to tear down their videos and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So they've been around for a long time, all right. But anyway, OnlyFans went out there and put a whole bunch of their like double dipping content creators on this list because anybody can upload. Well, at this point in time, if you were like associated with any content creation platform, not as a creator, but as like an official, okay, so you work for it. All you had to do was just email shit to these guys. They put it on a list, and then these guys would blast it out to all the other platforms out there, and then their agents on that side would tear your shit down. And so apparently they like murdered off half of their content creators by putting them on the fucking terrorist internet watch list.
oh my god.
And this organization had like no, like they were like, fine, okay, you know, they don't have the manpower and stuff to go check everything, you know. But basically, they just serve as an aggregator so they can blast that shit out to some other people in the industry who actually have access to that and say, hey, you know, if this guy who's beheading people or throwing gay people off the roof in Iran, all right, if he's got an account over here, please shut it down. And they would do it. And so apparently they did that with a bunch of content creators back in like 2019. So before the pandemic. And it's really interesting because they were specifically going after Facebook and Meta on this one, okay? Because there's this weird money trail that goes through like Bangkok and then fucking the Philippines. And so it looks like it was backdoor payments to people who work for Facebook. So,
oh wow.
it was an interesting article, man. You should Google that. It's like
I'll look into
OnlyFans.
that.
Yeah,
That-
OnlyFans class act. I just saw it today.
OnlyFans?
OnlyFans. So,
I've never heard of this term before.
oh, really?
OnlyFans?
OnlyFans is a site that's basically turned into the porn mecca of the world. So, because, you know, if you're like, I don't know, a struggling preschool teacher who has nice tits, you can get on OnlyFans and make $1 million a month. Basically, like, you know, what Twitch, it's the line that Twitch won't cross. We'll put it that way. They're like, we're fine with it.
Not quite.
I know, man.
Well, it's
There's nuance to this that I'm not laying on.
well, it's not even a question of nuance. It's a question of what it does versus what is. Okay, so here's. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the ethics of OnlyFans for a second, okay? And I'm going to try to remain unbiased, and you make your own conclusions, okay? So when you sign up for this, okay, and let's say, all right, this is where the cross-promotional crap comes in. Like, let's say that you see somebody on Twitch or on YouTube or something that also has a social, an OnlyFans.
OnlyFans, yeah.
Okay? The way that people will say this basically is check my socials.
Yeah, exactly.
Check my what?
Socials. So you'll have a list of like your Instagram, your OnlyFans account, you know, whatever.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So you
Yeah.
go in there and you sign up for this account, and what happens is you find this person you want to follow. Okay. So the first thing they're going to do is they're going to charge you a monthly fee, basically to get in on this.
Do they charge you on OnlyFans right up front?
It's up to them.
Oh, okay.
But that's kind of like easy money, so a lot of people do that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
It's up to OnlyFans, or it's up
The
to
individual
It's up to the
person.
content creator.
So
And-
if you're wanting to search for a person, you have to go on OnlyFans first and then search.
You do. I think you do that on
Or you
Google
just-
too.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Find 'em on
You
Google, yeah.
could, like, if you said Pat OnlyFans, you'd find it that way. Or if you went to OnlyFans and searched for Pat, you'd find it too.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely paying up front.
Yeah. Well,
We got a cover charge around here, man.
all right. Now, here's where it gets. You can debate this. Okay. So the buy-in, the monthly doesn't give you access to everything, right? So at that point, what happens is then you can buy individual things within there, access to pictures, access to videos, access to
yeah.
this, right? At different levels.
So pay for the park and the rides.
Well, and that's sort of the issue, right? Is that's where it wasn't just that I look at the Twitch thing where you can basically where this is geared towards kids. I've clearly drawn a line in the sand. I'm like, this is for a young audience. This is exploitive towards people who are too young to handle this. All right. When you get into that second side, and then you're essentially purchasing per incident, right, or whatever it is that you want, this is where it becomes difficult as a business model. Okay, as an entrepreneur, I can be like, this makes sense. Okay, got it. All right, but there's also a part of it where you have turned this entire. It becomes like slightly more intimate than just a group chat in Twitch, right? Then there is individual attention paid because you send this with a message, they write messages to you. There's a false sense of closeness that exists.
It's like
Oh,
going to
yeah.
a strip club.
That's it. Is basically
It's basically
you
a
have
strip
turned
club.
this into a full-blown internet strip club.
Okay.
And again, I don't know about the ethics of this. I know that it's essentially the same market that I feel like gotcha games get on your phone, right?
Right.
Where, what is it? It's like 3% of people end up spending so much of the money. I don't remember what it is. It's like 90% of the money comes from like 3 to 5%.
Oh
of
yeah,
people.
when you're playing Candy Crush, you know,
Right. And
all your revenue comes from about 5% of your
something
users.
like that. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And that is on a big scale, which again, I don't have a problem with in private enterprise. Okay. My big thing, and this is, you can chime in on this if you want, okay, is there's a version of this where people are essentially glorifying that and saying, like, you cannot shame these people. Right? Now, my argument is I can shame whoever I want. Right? If I don't feel that this is necessary work, the whole argument is, guys, like, sex work is work, like, whatever, I get it, right? But look, I can shame a bartender, I can shame a landscaper, I can shame whoever I feel like. That's not for you to decide.
Where are you shaming?
Oh.
Where would you shame a landscaper? Like,
Well,
Yelp.
Yelp or
okay, all right. So you're
Like-
giving like a review.
not even like a review. If I'm just sitting there talking to you guys, like, I don't want to end up working at McDonald's, right? That's shaming somebody's job.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. Whereas, now look, I'm not going around there saying, look, the common term for this is basically, it's called e-thots.
I've never heard that.
You know that? You don't know that?
Thoughts? No.
Okay, so first off, do you know what a thought is?
I'm kind of having some.
I know.
but-
I think
don't
I'm
think
being
that's
lured
what you
into a
mean,
trap
yeah.
right now.
No, you're not being lured into a trap. All right, so okay, I guess this is all right. So don't think about this as being spelled properly. Okay, you're thinking of actual think thoughts.
Yes.
Okay,
Right. Yeah.
It's spelled THOT.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
you know
So I
what
don't
that
know.
is.
You didn't see this one.
No.
Nope.
Okay, so this term has been around a while. That is an acronym for that hoe over there. And what?
Jeff hangs out on different parts of the internet than you and I.
This is not new knowledge, man. They asked Tim Tebow this in an interview question.
Yeah.
About his thoughts, and did he go the same answer that I'm doing right now and going,
With Tim Tebow, remember,
the Lord prevents him from having thoughts?
Okay, so they asked him specifically, they said, how difficult has it been to reconcile your beliefs with the amount of thoughts that are around you? And he said, I decline to answer that. But I'm just saying that it's something that has come up in regular culture. So when people have, this is basically saying that this is, in the old days, we call this a skank or a hoe, right?
Okay.
All right. But the term e-thought, in big quotes here, is somehow super offensive, right? Because you're picking on the way that these girls choose to make business.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's completely fair game. So, I mean, in most of them, at least the ones that I've seen, all right. So in terms of they actually bubble up on Insider or whatever, you know, shows up on my news feed. They're like, well, fuck you. I own 6 gas stations, you know.
Right.
So I'm
Say
like,
what you want.
yeah, I'm like, good for you, man.
Yeah.
You know, you're building yourself a little business empire here. Sweet. You know?
Right. And I mean, that's the thing is, I'm not saying that I want to go out there and degrade any things like this, but it is perfectly within my scope to say, all right, well, if I'm to turn around and say, I think that perhaps, I don't know, a firefighter has more of a societal value than what you're providing, I think that's up to me.
Well, isn't
No,
that
it's
same
fine
with
for you to make that argument. Yeah.
everybody that's in the public arena, that you have to be able to take the slings that come with it as well?
You know what? That's also an excellent point.
So if you're putting yourself out there that way to be a public person, then you get
You're
the good, you get the
subject
bad.
right.
It's all out there. So
I mean, we do that with a podcast that has 5 people listen to it, 3 of whom are at this table.
There's that.
So, yeah.
No, and that's the thing. Yes, you're open to any criticism, but yeah, that's part of the part of the movement that I particularly have a problem with is if you want to make that money that way, go ahead. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
But please stop presenting this like this is something that deserves a medal, like this is something that requires some degree of
that's
like,
fair.
Yeah, but see, like, is that argument coming from the people who are actually doing the work?
Or people that are just
Or is it-
self-righteous
or is it
about
fucking-
taking up a cause.
Yeah, is it sideliners who are doing this? So,
Let me just say that there is the people that are championing this. Okay, there's a consistent byline of the people that I'm genuinely complaining about.
mhm.
Right,
The same people that complain about every single thing on the planet.
I would say so. Yes,
These are finger waggers. So,
well, finger waggers and typically of a specific political persuasion.
well, of course, man. I mean, that's obvious.
Okay.
You know, it's always come from that direction.
No, that's not true.
Okay, when didn't it?
The entirety of the 80s and the early 90s.
Did what? Oh, yeah,
Oh,
okay.
sorry.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. The finger wagging was coming from distinctly more Mormon parts of the United States.
Or Mormon adjacent.
Baptist, yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. I have a political question.
Oh
Uh-oh.
dear.
Oh,
Because
dear.
I can't figure out why they would do the whole raid thing on Trump.
I don't
Oh
know.
boy. Okay.
Why would you make a public spectacle for something like this where they're not getting it? Like it.
I've been looking for different takes on that, and so I'm interested in yours on this one.
Trying to find the angle, and I'm just like, dude, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
I distinctly went to multiple news sources on this one, and you get very different stories depending on which one you go to. So I'm curious what story you've got.
Okay. So, all right. Nobody has an official answer at this point.
Correct.
No.
So
Yeah,
you're
the
asking.
FBI's comment is officially no comment.
Okay. So, are you asking basically what the hot conspiracies are right now?
Oh, I'm familiar with all those. And so
What would be? I mean, unless you literally thought you had gold that you were getting out from Trump's place.
What, like actual money?
Well, no, but like
Oh, okay.
whatever secret
I was
dirt
like, I hadn't heard that one.
that was going to bury him for good.
We're gonna shake out his couch cushions.
Why would you want? It seems like they even called the news there to watch and record everything.
That's possible.
Why would you want this sort of a public spectacle to give? It just, unless you have something that you knew absolutely 100% is there.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it just looks like it's a blatant abuse of power.
I would argue that, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks clear as day that that's what it is. So why would you orchestrate it this way? You did this on purpose.
Okay. So you asked what I'd heard.
Mhm.
All right, what's been passing around. All right, so the new information that I got in the past like 5 hours was that this was all based off of an unnamed informant that supposedly knew which documents were being stored where. Now this is following, okay, evidently the story on this is that Trump has been cooperating with these guys
Right.
before.
They've even been at his place in June.
Correct. And on top of that, the other piece of this is the idea is that he brought classified documents from his administration back to the House,
Happens all the time.
which is evidently completely normal.
Yes.
Okay. So the real okay. So what they're saying the purpose of this, all right, is it is partisan. And the argument is if they find something that they can use that disqualifies him from running in 2024 based off of that information, they're going to use it. Because as of right now, the butt kicking that's going to happen is going to be epic making.
So they're just burning Biden down. This if there's
No.
nothing there, then they'll just throw it all on Biden, let him burn out.
No, they're not going to throw it on anybody. They look, because as of right now, Biden's like, I didn't order this. Okay. There are the people up the chain that have said, like, I had awareness of this. Okay. There's nobody that can directly tie it to him. Okay. And he and his goon are never going to say, yeah, we did this. Right?
No, but everyone's going to connect those dots.
Bullshit. No. The
It's just
dissonance
a
people.
rogue
No.
FBI.
The dissonance that people have when it comes to people saying, oh, I didn't do it, you either want to believe it or if you don't. Okay? So it's not like anybody on the left. Look, you're going to talk about just painful divorce from the left, okay, is going to be this. When the actual liberals, actually, I don't want to call them liberals, they're not liberals anymore. When the actual left decided that they were going to get in bed with authoritarianism is when they left me behind. When this was a group that was based off of, actually, we need to be championing individual freedoms, and more so, it's more important that we leave people the fuck alone. But when you decide that, oh, well, no, we're on the side of authority. And that really came to a head when, how can we control the COVID narrative? How can we, okay, look, I'm just saying, like, and at the same thing, when you go in there and say, like, okay, you've declared these people a terrorist group? Oh, whose administration is that? Okay, why are you doing this?
Who
Okay.
did they declare as a terrorist group?
Oh, like the Proud
parents.
Boys and...
Oh, I thought you meant the parents that were standing up.
Did they actually
Oh.
get declared as a terrorist group?
Yeah, they and a couple other, like, groups.
Did they get the Oath Keepers? I was kind of curious about
think
that.
they did, but I'm not quite... I don't
I
can't
don't know
quote
about that
one.
one because that one's pretty embedded in the military. So
It is, but it's not,
Yeah.
like, again, this is stuff where you say,
I knew a guy who was an Oath Keeper. He was pretty cool.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
most of these guys, it's
Just people.
the same thing. Like, okay, obviously I'm
He
not...
was a little weird. But
No, man. It was like, dude, I remember when this was a crazy thing when they declared Juggalos a gang.
Oh,
I don't. Yeah.
I do remember that.
Who did that?
Shit, that was like 12 years ago.
Was it Homeland Security that does that,
think
or
so,
is it
yeah.
the FBI?
They-
or
God, it was a while ago. Yeah.
They declared them a formal gang, and these people were like, yo, man, look, I'm not saying there's not bad actors in this group, but given that these guys are like, do you really know what goes on in Juggalo culture? Like, we're weirdos.
I don't know anything about it.
But the whole thing is, if you are like in trouble, we'll take you in. Like if we have a couch that you can sleep on, you're sleeping there. But we also dress up in this weird dumbass clown makeup and listen to this weird kind of like Detroit rap that's not. Okay. But yeah, this is the stuff where it's like you've been making this ridiculously partisan and marrying yourself to authority. And that is so antithetical to the left message that I came in with, right?
Yeah, I agree with you on a lot of that. I mean, yeah, but Donald Trump did the same fucking thing. So,
To whom?
it's like, I mean, as soon as he started getting in the office there, he started throwing his weight around like that as well. So, but he didn't do it to the public. He did it to the actual structures of the government. And so, and I mean, I have a problem with that. So,
Yeah, but here's the question: what political rivals did he have raided by the FBI?
and see, and I think like if Joe Biden did actually order this, then I'll concede the point 100%. So I'm not convinced that he did. So I think we need to give this one just a wee bit of time because quite honestly, there's a lot of dudes who are on like fucking Hitler patrol here. If there's something to be found, they're gonna find it. So, particularly if you talk about a president who doesn't even know like where he was 5 minutes ago.
But it's not. Look,
So,
it's not a question of whether he's making the decision.
Right.
I think there's a number of decisions he has no cognizance of.
probably not. But clearly Merrick Garland would have to approve it.
And
So,
that's known, yes.
yeah, that's known. The question is like, okay, is this like leading up towards some kind of indictment? And then the real question is like, all right, the motive behind this entire thing, which would be disqualify him from running for office, right? Well, how the fuck do you do that? So there's not a law out there that says like if you're a convicted felon, you can't be president. There's nothing out there that says if you're there isn't.
2 impeachments.
Huh?
Isn't it 2 impeachments?
No, there's not a law.
There's
Yes,
2
there is.
impeachments.
You-
You can't.
You can't. You are strictly forbidden. It's. I'm telling you, this is not just a joke. or
What
anything.
law is that?
They were bringing it all. They were trying to get
Yeah.
that last impeachment in before he left office. 'cause
But
they
he's been
wanted-
impeached twice, and he's still considering running.
No,
think-
it specifically it has to do with if you are basically guilty.
Well, he
of,
hasn't been impeached because he's never been convicted.
right.
So he's got 0 impeachments.
Well, no, the impeachment is not the. It's not the actual.
Okay.
Right. When you're impeached, okay, like Bill Clinton was impeached,
Yeah, I know.
right? But it's.
I remember.
Well, yeah,
I supported that decision.
you can be, if I recall correctly, you can be impeached all day long.
Yeah.
Right. It's the question of whether or not you've actually been convicted.
Convicted.
Right.
Convicted of. Well, you have to be convicted of impeachment in order to be barred from office.
Right. So
Yeah.
so the impeachment is the act. Basically taking
The only people who can
accusation.
impeach him is the Senate.
Right.
So
But-
even if they bring up charges in this case, it still has to go before a Senate with a 50-50 split, and it needs a 60%, it needs a 60 vote in order to convict. It's not going to fucking happen.
No, okay. I can look this up for you. I don't
Yeah.
remember this right offhand, but basically, if you're found guilty of certain types of crimes, right? It's not like he's got 200 unpaid parking tickets.
Right.
Jaywalking.
Yeah, exactly. It's if you are found guilty of these types of crimes,
Uh-huh.
you are not allowed to run for president.
I think you still have to go through the impeachment process, though. So if that's the way that I'm reading it, because I think I know what you're talking about, all right, which goes back to like the 60s, if I'm not mistaken.
The origins, I do not.
Yeah, but I never heard the 2 impeachment thing.
They were saying something about.
Yeah, so I'd be
Yeah, I don't-
curious
I don't
on
know
this
the
one
official.
in some respects, because really the only people that can prevent him from running again is the RNC. So, I mean, and they're not going to do that, because if he turns around, like, he'll just turn his fucking laser eyes on the Republican, hierarchy and tries to take him on. So, but my understanding was, and even they couldn't prevent him from running. The only thing they can do is prevent him from running as a Republican. So, which I don't think he even needs in order to probably win.
Bro.
Okay, so this is all right. So the first part is
What's
I
the
think
act?
You are talking about the disqualification clause,
Uh huh.
14th Amendment. And so this is...
It's in the Constitution.
Well, 14th Amendment, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So this is based off of, I'll give you the direct quote. This is going to tie to January 6th, of course.
Yeah.
Is it high crimes and misdemeanors?
No, this is no person, blah, 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 who having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States, blah, 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 shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof.
Oh, okay.
Why do they keep calling this an insurrection? This.
Yeah.
Why do they keep subpoenaing, like, they're down to, like, people that work at, like, 7-Eleven, and they're taking their phones and saying, like, find information, right?
Yeah.
So this is why this is one of the reasons they're hanging on this,
right?
Okay, this is where the argument of who's actually truthful here, because if...
So wait a minute, did it say anybody who's convicted?
That says...
Because I saw a legal argument about this.
Shall have engaged.
But you have to be convicted of that, correct?
I am just reading about the 14th Act. It says, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same or given aid or comfort to the enemies therein.
Yeah, so 14th Amendment.
And more to the point, it says, however, how qualification works under the 14th Amendment has never been clear.
Wait a minute, it says that in the Constitution?
That's the argument. It says,
okay.
All right. Section 3 of the 14th Amendment gives Congress the power to disqualify someone who has already held a public office from holding any office if they participate in an insurrection or rebellion against the United States.
Right, which is where impeachment comes in. So, I mean, that's the whole thing. You have to be basically barred from entering government service by the government, not by an agency of the government. So, yeah, which would be Congress.
Well,
they're not going to impeach it, man.
No, they say no, because this is disqualification, and it's different than impeachment. Okay, someone who is impeached could be disqualified if they're convicted, right?
Okay,
but this is separate from disqualification. Okay, so Congress can bar someone from holding office. More importantly, under the 14th Amendment, disqualification requires only a simple majority vote, not the 2/3 vote needed to convict during an impeachment trial.
Okay.
So, as far as I'm concerned...
That's possible. So, I mean, it's getting a little thin. And I would say, like, if that is definitely... Like, if there is actually a conspiracy within the Democratic structure, and I mean big D, not little d. So here, to actually bar him from running, this is definitely a fucking Hail Mary. So...
Well, there's two Hail Marys. There's one we already know.
What's the other one?
The other one is basically giving the D money to extreme right candidates.
Yeah.
And that's well posted. That's not even a secret.
Oh, God, that's funny because I actually saw somebody call this one like 2 weeks ago where the DNCC now
I think so.
is actually giving money to anti-abortion groups. So, who, of course, are your crazies in the Republican Party who, tried this thing in fucking Kansas that blew up in their face. So, yeah, and so, it's kind of clever, but at the same point, I mean, that's just part of the game, though, man. So, I mean, I guarantee you it's happening on both sides, and it has happened in the past. So,
Yeah, but if you're talking about what is a Hail Mary strategy, it's that.
Well, yeah, that's retarded. You should just put the money into better candidates. Yeah. So,
back yourself.
That's okay, man. I mean, sometimes you be careful what you wish for, and sometimes you just let the own play. The other team just run its plays, man. It'll be fine. So, but
to make it this public.
So, what do you mean by make it this public? I don't think that if you had 2 cop cars show up outside of Mar-a-Lago, let alone 50, it's gonna make the evening news. So,
but if he was consenting the whole way,
he might, yeah.
And from what I was hearing is they should have given him a subpoena because he wasn't at the location anyway.
Yeah. Did they not give him a subpoena?
No.
Are you sure?
He was out of.
They
waited until he was away from there.
Yeah. So they knew he couldn't destroy evidence, which is the only reason that you should be able to.
Mm-hmm. But is that anything different than they would do for other people? So I'm kind of curious about that.
Anything that they do different from other people.
Technically, there's
Like, I mean, if you're going to bust a major banker, would you, like,
if you have fear of them destroying evidence,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
then you would do what they did.
And
Right.
the theory is that the basis upon which this came from was that tweet of torn up documents in the toilet.
Oh, I didn't even see that part.
Yeah, I saw that part. It wasn't that. Yeah.
No, that was just made up shit.
Yeah.
And they said that this was evidence enough that he was destroying evidence.
No, I don't know, man. I think this one needs a little bit of time. So, because if they do have something, I mean, you're right. It's kind of a weird move to pull. So, I personally, I think the timing's a little bit off. So, if you were really doing this in a conspiracy style manner, you'd wait till fucking October.
Yeah, you wait
to
till
do this.
after he declares running.
Bingo. There you go.
Ruin.
Yeah. So,
Right.
yeah. So I don't know, man. And like, I'd be curious and like, okay, so a judge, definitely a federal judge, somewhere had to sign off on this shit. I'd be curious what both sides said in that case. I'd be very surprised if he didn't know it was actually coming.
The judge
So-
that signed off on it is a judge that recused himself from a previous Trump thing.
Yeah.
Because he's anti-Trump.
Okay.
So he had already taken himself off from a Trump thing between him and Hillary.
Well,
then
see,
decided
and that's
to
the
take
whole
this
thing.
one.
Like, if that's actually true, all right, and if that's actually material to this one, then that's an easy way to get whatever the FBI collects just tossed at that point. So that'd be a dumb mistake, at that point in time. All right. So, like, look, I've seen like a lot of different shit on this because I was curious and I was pretty sure someone was going to ask about it. All right. I've seen the complete like fucking lizard people are trying to get rid of our hero stuff.
Yeah.
And then I've seen the complete other side. It's like, oh my God, we're finally going to find something about Russia. So, but like so there's a couple legal minds that I listen to on this one. The one that's actually fairly sharp on this stuff. So it's like, you don't make a move like this unless you actually have something legit. Okay. But at the same point in time, like you got to protect all that shit. And so you make sure that it's very, very, it's like executed on a lower level so that like,
There's no holes.
yeah, exactly. And so at the point in time where if there is something that's actually there at this point in time, you don't lose it because of all the political bullshit that's going to come out of this one way or the other. All right. So because instantaneously, and they learned this back with the whole thing with fucking the Russia and what the fuck was
Steele
his name?
document? No.
Well, yeah, which turned out to be completely fake. So no,
Steele dossier.
who was the fucking guy who was doing the investigation? The FBI dude who'd been around for 30 fucking years.
Yeah, it's gonna be his name. I can't tell you.
Yeah. But everybody was like for like 8 months while he's writing the report, the left media is just blah 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 blah, just constantly hyping this thing up, and he's like, actually, there's nothing.
Right.
And they're like, oh well, fuck that, blah, you did a bad job, yada yada yada, and shit. So and so you'd want to avoid all of those things again. All right, and so like, I don't know, man.
No, actually, okay, I see what you're saying. Here's the problem. All right, this is where I have a specific disagreement with you.
Okay.
All right. What travesty happened with the events before the Supreme Court ruling that was not tamped down or punished in any way?
I thought it was punished down.
The leak?
Yeah.
Nope.
They didn't find the guy?
Nope.
Oh, I thought they did.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
They have suspicions, but it still got out there. So what I'm telling you here is, let's suppose that there is some kind of bullshit hanky-panky in there.
Sure.
And what if legally you're like, all right, well, we can't release this. All right, well, I'm going to give this to a journalist. That's the thing.
Wait a minute. I don't understand what you're saying.
Okay, so
I'm not tracking.
Let's suppose, okay, think about the way that the leak worked here in the Supreme Court and wasn't buttoned up and it wasn't punished, okay?
Well, not yet. So,
Okay, but it's not like this just happened. This has been a while. Right.
well, it's been like 4 months.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Fucking traffic tickets take longer to prosecute than that sometimes, man.
I get it, but here's the thing:
Yeah.
it still got out, and the information.
Sure, I get
got
that.
out, okay, so even if they go in there and say, "All right, we have found this information," okay, we're legally fucked. We can't use this. We procedurally did this wrong, or it was just ordered on a whim. Okay, but if you found it, okay, and somebody just says, "All right, this page, I'm going to fax it to the Washington Post."
From
Damage
what?
done.
From
Whatever smoking
It's
gun
just out.
evidence.
Now it's out there, public knowledge.
Oh, you mean like if
So
the
you-
FBI finds something and they can't illegally use it, then it would leak out to the press and they would try and
100%.
use the political.
Yes.
Oh no, I think that's a legit concern. I'm not going to say that that's not out there. Okay, I mean, but if you didn't have like, all right, personally, I think it's probably a nothing burger, and they just wanted the shit
agree.
back. So you
But
know,
that's not theirs to take, really.
well, yeah, it is actually.
Why is this the first time you do it?
I don't know. Maybe they've done it in the past, and we just don't know about it. Who knows?
No, they haven't.
They haven't.
Not
This
to a
is-
president, but you know, like.
Yeah, but all the presidents.
Well, they
did.
did. They burned Petraeus on it. I know that.
What's Petraeus?
So, well, I get that.
But he's not the president.
No,
Look,
this is the only president they've done that to.
yeah,
So,
like the whole joke about fucking Bill Clinton's documents in his sock drawer wasn't a joke. It was just, it's fine.
Yeah.
They didn't care.
yeah, I know, but that was 25 years ago.
I get
So I think like we're in for another 20 years of like everybody's got to be completely above board about everything because you usually use it as a stick against you. So especially if you have a political appointee who's in charge of your Justice Department. Thank God your FBI guy's around for 6 years. Wouldn't that be funny? If Trump gets back in office, he can't fucking fire the guy for 2 years. So- but anyway, I joke about that, but like I don't know, man. Like it depends on what he's got. All right, and if it's nothing, okay, fine. They're gonna look really stupid. If he's got something, two things are going to happen. Well, one of two things are going to happen. Either it's something that you can't fucking tell anybody about, okay, because it's that big of a fucking deal. All right. And then at that point in time, it's like, well, everybody's just going to froth at the mouth and nothing's going to happen. Everybody's going to be pissed off anyway. Okay. Or there's going to be something legit in there. So, that's like, actually, you know what? I mean, it's really sus that the FBI, like, the Secret Service scrubbed all their fucking text messages and shit like that. I mean, I can totally see their explanation behind it and saying, like, okay, like, I mean, you know how government IT goes. So, like, guys, wipe your phones. Okay,
Yeah.
we're getting new ones next week.
New office.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're gonna.
So, yeah, but, like, if he's got something in there that, like, has no business being in Mar-a-Lago, I mean, I'm not talking about like his personal ledger or things like that. I mean, that you would expect that to be there. So, but who knows? But I guess my point is you probably won't find out if it's a really big fucking deal. So,
But that's the thing, the whole who knows part of this, right?
Right.
That's the question is, what is the basis upon what is this who knows?
Yeah.
Right? Because the problem with that logic is, all right, well then just check everybody, right? But why have we not done that in the past 200 years?
I don't know. And, maybe it's one of those things where they asked him for it and asked him for it. I mean, like, so I see this, like, this thing where he's got, like, fucking dispositions of U.S. subs or something, stuck in his shit, and they're like, give it back. He's like, I'm too busy. It's like, no, give it back. He's like, nah, fuck it. I'll let somebody else take care of that. I'm too busy doing other Trump shit. I mean, the guy's got attention span of about 10 fucking minutes.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I can totally see like this, like completely like, no, fuck you. I'm not president anymore. Leave me alone kind of shit. Where eventually they're like, no, you got to give that back. All right, we need that. So I'm not entirely convinced that the whole purpose behind this thing, okay, is to like fucking try and prosecute him in some way down the road. So I'm not going to take off the table that it's just a colossal fuck up, and then they're finally like, no, we need that shit back. Or it needs to go in the archive. Like, okay, they do pull every president's personal correspondence into everyone's archive. You can go to any presidential library and get that shit. Sometimes they get it when they die. So,
I get that.
and so it might be some of that stuff too. I mean, like, but then again, you might be right. And it might be this conspiracy to actually get him completely fucking scrubbed from the ticket. I'm just going to say that's a Hail Mary, if that's what they're trying to do. And it's going to fail. So,
Look, okay, so again, I'm not advocating any kind of like conspiracy on it. What I'm doing is I'm just presenting the perspective of in the absence of any kind of, any forthcoming version of this, we're saying, look, the right thing to do is, we suspect this. This is why we're going here. You say that.
Yeah,
okay?
maybe.
When you go out there and say, like, we don't know who signed off on it. When you ask the people in government, like, did you do this? It's like, I don't know. I did.
Yeah.
And they break it down and say, well, who are the people who would know about this when this happens?
Yeah.
Number one, the president, right?
Yeah.
And they say, like, yeah, but you don't know. You're telling me you don't know. And his dumbass, buckwheat-looking, press secretary at this point is just like, I don't know. I'm not going to answer that question.
She talks like Bobcat.
She is worse than the bitchy redhead. She is just fucking
Is
useless.
she on MSNBC yet?
I haven't even
don't know.
But no, it should, like, the just I don't know. And then, so if you want to go in there with some kind of transparency and say, like, hey, we have suspicions of this, this is the evidence we have to go after it.
Yeah.
Okay? If you go out there and say, well, the only person reporting, the only reason people know that they're there is because Eric Trump is at the house. He's like, well, my dad's not here. And so there's like...
could I go outside? Oh, wait, his mom just died.
Exactly. Well, birth mom, yeah. But yeah, it's like, so there's a shit ton of FBI here, guys. It's like, why? Don't really know. They don't say.
Yeah.
Right? And so when that's the information that comes out, here's what I can tell you, okay? And look, this is the argument. People will try and pretend this is something bigger than it is. What's come out of the January 6th hearings is a big fat fucking nothing. There's nothing in there that's substantive. There's nothing in there that would stand up if this were a trial, right?
No, they're getting people for breaking and entering, basically,
Right.
Yeah.
So you've spent so much time and money on this bullshit boondoggle and come up with exactly nothing.
Yeah.
Right? And so right now, in lieu of any kind of meaningful evidence, it's, so why are you doing this? Because you won't tell us. Why are you doing this? Now, of course, like you're saying, the right thing to do is, if everybody could take 2 steps back and say, I don't know, we'll see what happens in the wash. But that's just not how it works.
No, I get that. So, and part of that is me just longing for days where we were actually kind of cool.
That would be amazing.
I mean, even Bill Clinton days, we were kind of cool about it until a blue dress came out. It was like, oh, fuck. But, like...
That was a thing. It
was a thing. But, but
did
like...
I care? No. But...
I did. So, I don't know. Was a much more naive young man.
To think that those were the good old days.
The good old days, yeah. But not... So, like, I don't know, man. I mean, like... This is why I stopped talking to my wife years ago about lawyer shit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because it's like, there's a strategy with everything.
Yeah.
And you learn that by stepping on landmines. And so the whole plausible deniability thing, there's a reason why that exists.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not just due entirely to nefariousness on the part of the people who do it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's because, like, hey, man, I want to get this guy, and so we can't fucking talk about this. We charge him with everything, even things that we know aren't going to stick. We hit him with it anyway because that's the strategy. And so just, like, the strategery that's actually involved in that shit, and this is, like, I mean, if they're actually intending to charge him with something, okay, this will blow up the news cycle for the next, like, 2 fucking years. Okay, it will be like everybody involved in this, from the fucking parking cop outside of like Mar-a-Lago who showed up that day to, like whoever validates parking at the Department of Justice. They'll all be hounded by everybody in the goddamn media. Every conspiracy theorist out there.
Absolutely.
Fucking, like every pundit, every podcaster, and shit. It'll just be a shit show. And it'll just be
The most annoying.
I know, it'll be so
planet.
terrible. And that's why I really hope it is like, well, he had an extra copy of the football codes. We need those back.
But you right there, you just talked about mission accomplished, right? Because if you're talking about that, what are you not talking about right now?
Oh, I don't know. What
You're
else
not
is the big
talking
fucking
about
deal?
You're not talking about 9% inflation. You're not talking about right.
It's just a distraction.
Well, you're vilifying the past guy for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, that's all they've been doing for
Oh,
2 years anyway.
Joe
so.
Biden will make more than enough mistakes in the next 2 years to keep him in the news cycle.
Well, the best thing that ever happened to him was he got a couple rounds of COVID and had to disappear for a while.
Yeah, you might learn from that.
Uptick his approval rating has seen in months.
That's how he got elected, just disappear.
Yeah, exactly. So it's actually a fairly valid strategy at this point in time. More people should do it.
Just go away.
Yeah, no, hey,
Just all
well, I mean,
go
like
away.
here, all right. So one of the benefits of actually like turning the TV back on is watching local news. And so the one thing I love local news. All right, so it gives you great perspective on national news because you just get the really important shit and you don't have to worry about all the other fucking shit. So because it gets like 3-minute segment.
True.
And then if you get curious about something, you go check it out. So, but like looking at like I had no idea like some of the shenanigans that were going on locally, but then you look at like the races that are going on here in Colorado, they're nothing. They're all nothing burgers,
Yeah.
Jared Polis shows up at like 2 events a month, now because he's like, no, I govern. If you don't like how I do it, toss me out of office. It's cool. So, and then the same thing's true with like the people who are agitating, in order to get in there. They're just like all over the fuck. They get 3 ads in a 5-ad segment. So, the splits between there and stuff like that. And so, just trying to drive the news cycle. Like, our local DA is in this fucking shit show right now, which is hilarious. I have to look into it a little bit more before I can talk about it in detail. So, but it's funny. It's like, oh, you're running for Congress someday, aren't you, buddy? So, and so, like, the agitation that exists, on a certain level. And, I mean... Donald Trump's going to die in the news. He's going to drive the news until he becomes incompetent, like completely incapable of actually driving anything. So, where people just feel sorry for him. They're going to be like, man, your brain is fried or something. Or, you even got even fatter than you were before.
I really don't think people will feel sorry for him once he hits that level.
I don't know, man. I mean,
don't.
think about it. Like, think about the hate that George W. Bush engendered. And now everybody's like, oh, he paints pictures. It's cool, So,
Herbert Walker?
Oh, no. I mean, W.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
W.
okay, yeah.
No, Herbert Walker, I don't think there was a universally less or more beloved ex-president in my lifetime. Jimmy Carter's always been kind of like, well, he's cool, but he's better as an ex-president.
Yeah, that's kind of...
George Herbert Walker's the guy that, like, 10 years later, people are like, man, I wish he had gotten a second term. So,
Well, that depends. I mean, there are a lot of people who... there are a lot of people that somehow credit Bill Clinton for being in office when the internet came into play.
Yeah, that's not true. So...
And as a matter of fact, I will say that in the past, I would say 4 years or so, the worm has turned on that person's tenure. Whereas he was sort of universally loved there for a little while.
Yeah.
And then there's this, I don't know, the Weinsteining of politics in Hollywood in general.
Yeah.
But it said, the shit that we said was cool.
Not really that cool. Yeah.
We had to say it because you were on our side. But we've had to crucify everybody that we've said is cool with this. So you're not in office.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this sort of like should pick on you, shouldn't pick on you, because an entire wing of that party is still dedicated to, can we still find a way to shoehorn his stupid wife into the big office?
Yeah, they'll be curious to see if she pops up in the next 6 months.
I guarantee it.
You think so?
Yes.
I don't know. She dipped her toes into it a couple times. She got burned pretty hard. So... I don't know. She might walk away and just wander off.
She's not walking away.
Huh?
She's not walking away.
Yeah, I hope you guys are wrong about that. But,
She'll be back.
Yeah, but I mean,
Is she still breathing? Yes.
she's got no hope though. No hope, man. I mean, eventually you just gotta like, I'm gonna go like raise chickens or something. And write my memoir. Oh, she already did that, didn't she? Well, she probably had someone write it for her, but.
She thinks Trump cheated his way over her, so
I know.
she's gonna think that
I can't with
she
this.
should.
I can't with this. Like he cheated on this election, but we did this completely clean. I was like, Jesus.
I don't think anybody cheated on either of them.
They use the system as the way the system is built.
Right. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not cheating if you.
No, and I mean, like, it's
That's why I don't blame like these companies for not paying their taxes. You have loopholes in there.
well, they
Like,
paid to put them there, but yeah.
well, yeah, but I mean, if people are mad enough, then
Okay. So here's the argument I'll give you on that. Okay, as I like sports analogies, right? So if you have that much control over the sport, okay, so much where Tampa Bay always starts with a 7-point lead, and then you say like that doesn't seem fair, but then you try to Pete Banaszak it and say it wasn't illegal when I did it. No, it's still a problem
Yeah.
because you paid to have a 7-point lead.
true, and that's what people should be like standing up for and being like, hey, no, this is something we really want.
So why did they hire 87,000 additional IRS agents?
Yeah, that's weird.
So
That's
many people.
terrifying.
Well, I mean, so I got to go read into that a little bit because 87,000 seemed like a lot.
A lot.
Considering there's only like 15,000 FBI agents,
Yeah.
so, and this was like 87,000 more.
Yes.
So I'm kind of curious if this is actually people who work for the IRS, if they're going to subcontract people out or something. I was kind of curious about that. Like, will these 87,000 have the exact same authority that like an IRS auditor has now? Because I couldn't imagine why you would need that many more unless the backlog's that bad, which I can't imagine it because even I got my return after like 2 months. So
No.
But-
But this is the timing on this is so bad. It's so bad.
well, I get the timing, but also it might be one of those things where okay, the IRS really is that anemic, okay, and it's needed this for like 20 fucking years, and this is the first time we get a chance to actually punch something in. So
Their argument is they're doing this. They specifically said they're to target upper income people.
yeah, see that's interesting.
And businesses.
That's what they said. They said that's the purpose of this.
Well, is that the entire purpose of it? So, I mean, I get the byline that you feed to your constituency or something like that, but there's machinery of government back there that does need to be oiled every now and then. So I'm curious, like, and I haven't seen anybody do the deep dive on the fucking bill. So, yeah, because there's so much shit in it, but apparently it's got like what, it's got like 800 billions that's actually going back into the fucking national debt. It's weird, man. I don't get this one. Yeah. So, like I said, some of the people that I listen to, they're pretty good at this shit, and even some of them can't fucking figure it out yet. So I don't know what's in there. But the thing about 87,000 agents was like, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Ton
That's a
of people.
lot. Yeah.
And it's not.
So-
It's not in terms of like, well, we're going to start with 5. We have plans to add more.
Yeah.
This is one shot,
I
man.
don't even think you're going to get 87,000 applicants to that.
Train
So-
them, like
The training for the IRS is fucking insane.
Yeah.
I've seen a bunch of students go through it. It's horrifyingly long.
and you're gonna train
Yeah.
87,000.
And see, that's why I'm thinking that, like, okay, maybe that's just a number in there where we got the funds to hire 87,000, so maybe that's the full 50 fucking billion, but then you watch, like, half of it goes towards IT upgrades instead. I don't know. You'll have to watch over the next couple of years, but, like, and I mean, the thing is like, they say we're going to send 87,000 people after upper income Americans. Okay. And this is where I kind of changed my tune on a lot of things. You just go through and you do the fucking math. All right. So what actually constitutes an upper income American?
problem.
Where's the cutoff?
They
I know
said
where it is.
400,000.
Yeah, that's a lot. You know how much of the population that is?
It's 1%.
It's
actually
less than 1%. It's
Significantly.
significantly less. It's like a half of a percent.
Yeah.
And so that's why, like, everybody, tax the rich. It's like, they ain't got that much fucking money.
Nope.
All right. So you could tax Elon Musk down to $0. All right. Zero. Fucking nothing. Okay. And so you get 300 some odd billion dollars out of him. Congratulations. You just paid for the half of the Defense Department for a quarter.
Just put it straightforward, man. How many F-35s does that actually buy you?
Like 4, maybe 5. I don't know how much they are.
Yeah, they ain't free. That's
No, I know
that's
they ain't free.
Pat's
I
phrase.
think they're like, they're not $1 billion. No, never mind. I'm thinking aircraft carriers. And F-35 is probably about a $300 to $400 million plane. So you can get quite a few out of Elon Musk.
Oh, I totally
Yeah,
understand.
you could get quite a few of those.
You get way more when you say like, well, okay, we're gonna charge all of you like $5.
What, flat tax?
Well, no, I'm just talking about raw numbers, and to say like, well, we can go ahead and raid this dude's entire coffers, or we can go ahead and say like, all right, let's take $20 from everybody.
Yeah, the vast majority of the tax revenue that goes into the United States Treasury, well, and that's a misnomer too, because the money doesn't actually go in the Treasury.
No,
So-
it's not.
Yeah, so
It's not the.
the way the plumbing of the economy works is something that almost nobody understands. So, but anyway, including
Spend
myself.
more than you take in. That's just family and economics.
So yeah, for just run it like a small business, you know.
No, say that right. Run it like my small business.
Run it like my small business, yeah. But like, if you actually look at where tax revenue comes from, the vast majority comes from middle three income bands. Yeah. Because not only do they make a lot of money, but there are a fucking shitload of them in the United States.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is everybody thinks that it's like this pyramid. Okay, it's not. It's a fucking. It's a beat. yeah, I guess. So, you know, most of the money in the United States is concentrated in those middle three income bands by far.
What is
That's
the
just
range
numbers.
of middle three?
Middle three. So it depends on like which economist you ask, but if you just do it by quintiles. So you're technically lower middle class by the time I think you hit like $30,000 a year. I mean, it might be like 35. So the middle band is usually around 57 to 70-ish. Okay, and then the upper middle band is like,
I think it starts at like 85.
no, it's a little higher now. It's when you get up around 100. So yeah, and then the upper band is 250 plus.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why the whole like the student debt forgiveness thing and the fucking, you know, like all that shit, none of that affects those people that are way the fuck up there.
Right.
You know, okay. So and then they're right, they don't pay that much in taxes, okay? But most of those individuals, like, think about it, if you're on a payroll, okay, at that point in time, you're making $400,000 a year, your payroll taxes are basically funding fucking Social Security. Okay, so the income tax that you're paying, okay, that they withhold from your check, even if you get a lot of it back at the end of the year, okay, so that's still money that's technically going to the Treasury for a little bit of time, and so that vastly outstrips the, you know, nickels and dimes that they get from people in the bottom two, you know, quintiles and stuff like that, and so it kind of works out. If you're a small business owner, then you're actually supporting like 8 to 10 employees, all right, so those are people that they're getting taxes from as well. And so the fucking logic on it, like, you know, the trickle down stuff doesn't really work. But the way that taxation works, you know, that the logic behind that actually is pretty solid for, like, you know, if you're one of these like Elon Musk types and you create 100,000 jobs, okay, fine. I don't care if you hide your money in, you know, fucking Greek art, you know, anymore. I don't really care.
Right.
All right. So because, you know, the fact that you build this company and it makes this much money and all these people who work there pay taxes and your company pays taxes and it sells products that we have sales taxes on, okay, it's a giant win. All right. So, and likewise, like, you know, the whole thing, I hate this argument too, where people say, oh, the, you know, people who are on fucking welfare, you know, like, don't pay tax, or like, it's like, there's a stat out there that I saw a while ago, it's like 40% of Americans actually don't pay any tax. Yeah, they shouldn't. Okay, you know, at that point in time, because you're not going to get anything out of them. All right. So even if they turn around and if you make like $8 an hour and you make $24,000, you should not be paying fucking income tax. You're still paying payroll taxes.
Sales tax.
So you're still paying sales tax, but your payroll tax is the most important one because that's your Medicaid and that's your Social Security, or that's your Medicare and that's Social Security. All right, that one everybody should fucking pay into. I get that. All right. So, but your income tax, fuck that. I don't need that $5 out of you, bro. You need it more than I do. You know? So, and they say it's a fairness thing. Okay, well, if Elon Musk is going to get away with putting his money through loopholes in Greek art, then all right, Joe
Then
Blow, who
fine,
works at the
yeah.
gas station, I don't care if you pay taxes either.
Couldn't
Me,
care
who's
less.
solidly in the middle, I pay every last penny. I don't
Yep.
give a shit. So, you know, I make more than enough money. It doesn't bother me. All right. So, you know, when it comes down to it, like,
Part of the business of living in America.
correct. It's
Cool.
it's price business doing business here. I don't have a problem with that.
Yep.
You know.
Agree
So-
completely.
I don't know. I have to think about that. The only part that I can find an argument against,
Mhm.
right, is whether or not that's happening. Where, okay, are there 40% of people that aren't paying income tax because there's a systemic problem that has them so low to begin?
That's possible.
That would be the point that I look at and say, all right, I don't know what the mechanism is, but it would be better if there was, I mean, even if you lifted 10% off of that into the next class.
Yeah.
Right? Would be the argument. Not necessarily, because, like, yeah, you're right. You're really trying to get blood out of a stone at this point. And you're talking about, you want to talk about a waste of fucking resources. If you have 87,000 people out there auditing these people and saying, like, what are you going to get out of this?
There's
Right?
no way that $50 billion covers 87,000. There's no way.
I don't know.
Because
no.
it's got to be like, I mean, is that a budgetary increase like annually, or is that a package that's supposed to be split up over? I don't know. Like I
don't
said,
know.
yeah, there's
it's too goddamn weird to say. Like, there's enough to say. Like, why are you bringing an entire, like, it's almost like a new branch of the fucking military with how many people they're bringing in. Like,
That's pretty
at one
close,
time,
yeah.
Right? They're saying, so why do you need
like
this
in the
many
Marine Corps.
agents? Yes, at this time, and you say, like, at the same time that you're actually raiding the former president's house, are you planning on basically weaponizing the IRS? This has a precedent in Obama's presidency.
I get that, but Obama's presidency definitely had a little bit more of the octopus brain. So I
disagree.
Yeah, I don't. And Trump's presidency destroyed the octopus brain. So, like, clearly all the branches of the government were moving in different directions since he was in charge. That has not changed since our new president.
I agree and disagree. I mean,
Well, who's the fucking mastermind then? Because clearly it's not Clueless Joe.
no, I totally
That's
understand.
why I don't know the big picture. Like,
I don't
can't
know.
connect these dots.
You got to point me to a guy. So, like, when Obama was president, it was like, okay, he's a guy. All right, so that dude's in charge. All right, he knows what everything's going on in the government. So he's got a very top-down management style. So people report to him. They do not talk back to him. All right, that's how Obama governed. Okay, yeah. So, but he would take ideas from people and then call them his own. So,
Took a lot of George W. Bush's ideas. And
well, to be fair, George W. Bush did a lot of Clinton stuff too.
I totally understand.
It's like, let's drone that shit.
Yeah,
You're
and-
welcome, George. But anyway, like you cannot point me to somebody who's the octopus brain here. So, because even during like fucking, so W's president was clearly Dick Cheney, all right, who was the guy who knew where all the tunnels went.
Yes.
Okay, so during Obama figured it out pretty quick. All right, Joe didn't point those out to him.
No.
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 All right, so like. Okay, so who's in the Biden administration that's actually, or it's definitely, I mean, I've seen people point to Anthony Blinken, and the guy's an idiot. So it's not him. All right? I've seen people point to Kamala Harris.
I've never heard anybody.
I have, but, they're of that particular sect of spectrum that Jeff does not like.
Well, okay, it's also not that. That means the problem with that argument is that means that when all's said and done, she has to take off a mask and cape and say, "No, guys, I was only pretending to be retarded all along."
Yeah, that doesn't
That's
work.
never
That's
going
not
to
gonna
happen.
work.
No.
Yeah. So, like, all right, you could say it's Merrick Garland, but the guy is damn close to retirement himself. So he's almost as old as Joe Biden. So, can't be him. So, I mean, you could say it's him. And he's just on a revenge kick, but then that has nothing to do with 50 or 87,000 fucking IRS agents.
Agreed.
Yeah. So who the fuck is it?
Well, and again,
Who is even Joe Biden's chief of staff? Can you name them or her? I don't even know who it is.
I don't know.
It's got to be a girl.
Are you sure?
Probably. That was his
No.
point.
He's done nothing but hire women.
How many of them has he had?
100? I don't know.
What, chief of staffs?
Oh,
I don't fucking know.
I don't know if he's I have no idea.
I have no idea either.
Right,
So it's not like fucking like, when you had Steve Bannon in there, it was like, oh, that's the guy, who's calling
Yeah,
shots.
agreed. And it's not like an all roads lead to Nixon sort of situation here, right?
But okay, but my argument is that's what it fucking takes in order to get this kind of orchestration going. So
Pat, I get that, but at the same time, we still have a fucking dog and pony show going on every single day with this January 6th thing, right?
I
And
get
you
that.
can't keep that going without some kind of political momentum and basically like, look,
But who's the guy fanning those flames? Or is it like...
if I don't know this, look, because I don't know who it is,
Right, doesn't mean he's not there.
and it doesn't mean that it's necessarily a person. Okay, when it comes down to it, yes. So the argument here, and you're right. Okay, when you're saying I have 5 agencies with 5 different agendas, right, doing their thing, right.
Yeah.
What I cannot discount is the possibility that at some times they do step on the same foot.
They might.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, as for what the game would be of that, I don't know.
Yeah.
But there are certain things where if this travesty has been going on this long, there's a reason it hasn't fallen apart yet. There are people that are still keeping it going for whatever dumbass like, look.
It's NBC, dude. That's your obvious answer right there. It's your fucking mainstream media has got nothing to talk about if it doesn't relate back to Trump, because the guy fucking sells. And so if the FBI decides to raid him because he won't give nuclear codes back, all of a sudden it's this big fucking conspiracy, and we get both sides of the media out there who can absolutely fucking generate ad revenue for the next 3 months off this shit. You know, and if the government is marching in step and certain pieces of it are marching in step, okay, maybe it's because they're ideologically aligned and they just happen to step on the right note from time to time. It doesn't necessarily mean there's like collusion going on.
No, but the problem there is that your implication is that NBC is the octopus brain because they're orchestrating this for their own design.
It might be. I don't know. So, you know, or it might just be like, okay, so this is the merry-go-round. Everybody fucking, you know, cranks on it as hard as they can. Okay, you know, because we want to spin it, you know, and it makes money for everybody. It leads to jobs for people in these situations. It secures my political future or something like that. Who the fuck knows, man? So, you know, like, that's why I want a candidate in the next presidential race. Like, I don't want it to necessarily be Joe Biden, but some dude who gets, like, nominated and then doesn't show up for 3 months. Like, win. So say, guys, I'm working on a plan. I'll talk about it in October. See you there.
Look, man, okay, so you're reading off of my Christmas list, where it's
I
like
get you.
the only thing that I want. Okay, I'm telling you, like there's this. Okay, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to try and say this with the least amount of bias that I possibly can.
No, do the full bias, man.
Okay.
I like the bias.
And look, this goes both ways. Okay.
Stop doing the false equivalency.
No,
I know where you're going.
it does go both ways. However, only one of these has a slogan that rhymes. And the answer is vote blue no matter who. And I'm going to tell you, that makes me so goddamn upset, right?
Oh.
Because it makes me so upset because when you rally around and say, well, we will go with whoever the choice is, okay? The response has to be, no, we cannot just say this because this person represents me, okay? And I'm going to allow them to represent me even though I don't like everything they've got going on. So when it comes down to it, like, there is still this infighting where they say this derogatory term. It's like, oh, you're a Bernie bro. You are the ones that sacrificed us last time around, right? Because you wouldn't fall in line. Well, the only thing you can do with that is say, well, then change who you put up.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
When you vote blue no matter who, okay, that's the incentive to say next time around, well, this is what people want. This is the model that we have, right? Bullshit. If this is somebody that you don't like,
Don't vote for him.
Don't vote. Abstain. Vote for somebody else, right? But that stupid argument is what keeps people from actually having candidates they want.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of reasons why people don't get the candidates they want. So that is definitely amongst them, and probably one of the biggest ones. I'd say I'd also put primary systems up there.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Yes, I totally understand.
Although I used to be a fan of ranked choice voting until what happened in Alaska when they actually did that.
Oh, so basically the like against the first past the post.
Yeah, it turned into a PvP server.
Yes. One of those things where they always come back and say like, well, you should do this. This works in France perfectly. It's like, we're not France.
We're not France. France doesn't even have states, by the way. So, but yeah. Just saying. But
This is side, like, okay. I just want to. We've joked about this before when it comes to like Europe versus the United States, where it's like I'm so worldly traveled, right?
Right.
And I had a student that was talking about, I travel all over Europe. It's like, okay, that sounds cool, right? Yeah. And for whatever reason, she started like giving me like a little bit of pushback for being an American.
Okay.
Right? It's like, well, you don't travel outside the country. And I just joked, so yeah, I have. It's like, what do you mean? It's like, been to Wyoming. Like, what do you mean? It's like, that's as far as France is from Germany. It's like,
it's about the same as like Colorado and Wyoming are like France and Germany. So they are kind of like different places. So
yeah.
Very different people.
Yeah. And I was just, now I wasn't trying to be spiteful, but I was just joking about it. It's like, I get it, but you don't understand, like, I could go to every state and that would be like your version of Europe and then some.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's the continental United States. Okay. And then when you get to that gigantic snow peninsula.
Yeah. Or I'm going to go to Morocco. I mean, Hawaii. Like everybody else in England, during holiday.
Right. Yeah. I'm like, I get this is your Ibiza.
Ibiza,
right?
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, it's like, I got it.
That's
I got
right.
it. No, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. But yeah, I wanted to bring that up just because you.
No, that's pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to start using my not America line on students. Like, yeah, I've been to parts of not America. So, anyway. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of ways to... I don't know. Personally, I'm tired of people trying to change shit. Just leave it the fuck alone. Everybody wants to change shit now. I'm actually turning into a bona fide, like, small c conservative on this shit. Because, like, stop fucking with that.
Yeah.
You need to get... It's like your garbage disposal. You know what you do in order to clear it out?
So you put ice chips in?
No, you run it for a while.
Oh.
Okay? Because there's chicken bones in there, and it's just got these little beads down there that beat shit up. It's going to take a little while to beat those up. Just let it be. All right? Just leave it alone.
Yeah.
All right? So, same thing. Water's too cold. What do? You're trying to get hot water for shower.
Well, I mean, you can wait.
You let it run for a bit. And quite honestly, so, like, what's the slogan about not blue?
Oh, vote blue no matter who.
That's not going to work for them. All right? And so that means in 5 years or 2 more election cycles, okay, it's going to be so fucked up that they're going to lose colossally. Now, this fall is going to be interesting now. I don't think they're going to lose as bad as they did about a month ago. They're probably going to keep the Senate. So, yeah. 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 So
Look, the houses divided is where I want them to be.
Absolutely. That's when the garbage disposal starts chewing down chicken bones. So, And so if I can leave it alone, it'll start working the way that it's supposed to.
Mother of God. Okay, so I hate to keep going back to my students.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. This is a student of mine. She's Ukrainian. Well, Russian-Ukrainian, right? She's from that region that they are one. Essentially, the contested zone.
For the part that's getting leveled daily.
Yeah.
Gross.
Originally, and fled there and all this other stuff, right? Now, what she has coming up is the naturalization test.
Oh, nice.
Ooh. Yes.
Ooh, we should take that.
And I was like, all right, so I can talk to you a little bit about history, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just asked a couple of basic things. I was like, all right, when the Declaration of Independence. I said the famous like.
Keep talking. I'll get it.
Okay. Well, you can take mine too. All right, and then it was also like, what was the cause of Civil War, right? And it was her answer was black.
States' rights.
Blacks.
Yeah, I couldn't even look at the screen for a little bit. I was like, "You're not wrong. You're not right."
Don't write that on the. We gotta work on the way you frame that one.
I wish she answered so quickly. But then I asked her, I said,
It's all about Crips and Bloods.
I guess the question, what about them? Right?
At least you didn't say like those blacks.
Oh, no. They have their own way of saying that. But the thing was, I started quizzing her. I said, like, so what are the 3 branches of government? And that's where it started getting into it. And then she started asking, well, why have 3? And
Because Vladimir Putin.
it's like, well, that's not it. Like, so that's at the top of it. Now you have all this at the state level, right? So like, what's the point of that? I'm like, all right, sit down for a while. And just the way I was trying to explain it was like, so what is the purpose of all this for all these things? I said, all right, if I'm going to sum it up in one sentence, something has to be a really fucking good idea for us all to agree on to move fast on it, right? If it's not, and it has to change over time, that's what it does. But unless this is a super awesome idea that we can all agree to, then it's not going to move.
Yeah, like Iraq. Fuck yeah.
Right.
Sometimes it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but all you listeners out there, both of you,
right.
you know where you stood back then.
I think I've made this fairly clear. I had strong opinions about futures in glass.
Right, yeah. So we should have got all the oil.
That was like everybody. So it was
Yeah.
like, so what? How do you solve, Iraq? Like turn it to glass.
What about? Well, no, it was Afghanistan.
Afghanistan? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Iraq was like, well, turn it to glass, but on like a case by case basis.
Well, it was after the yellow cake. Everybody's like, yeah, turn it to fucking glass.
Yeah.
Or invade it, whatever.
And
So-
yeah, and like that day, I was like upset at everybody. So it's like, well, who else? I'm like, the Westboro Baptist Church, turn them to glass. And
Right.
like,
Yeah, let's turn South Korea into an island. Yeah. They'll be much better off as an island. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people were going to be tasting a lot of nuclear hate that day. It was like, I was upset, but then again, so was everybody.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else is on the test?
I didn't go.
Okay.
It took a while. It was an hour just talking about how the American government worked, and there were a lot of why.
I've heard that from so many different students too. They're like, this place is just crazy, and it's like, yeah, but it's like a football game you guys can't stop watching. So why is it that you are curious about this, and I could give a shit less who's the actual chancellor of Germany, kind of thing. So and that's like, so my grand conspiracy theory keeps going back to this is like, and I heard someone just absolutely put their finger on this the other way. You know who the most powerful people in the world are?
Ooh, you give an answer, I'll give an answer. Who do you
for
think?
it?
I have no idea.
Go for it.
Illuminati.
The Illuminati. That's a good answer. That's usually makes top 10.
Okay, I would argue that it is girls aged 15 to 34.
You might want to drop that down to about 26, and then you might, just dial it in a little bit.
Okay,
But yeah,
okay.
they usually make the list too.
Okay.
So yeah, others are the Bilderbergers,
Oh.
anybody who goes to Davos, of course the billionaire class, Jeffrey Epstein circle, all that shit. So, but really, it's like this very small slice of American voters, okay, that are about like, they're
In
the
the right states that
not even that, okay, but they're the people who drive the narrative because everybody tries to capture them. They're the people who voted for Obama and then Trump, okay, or the people who voted for Trump and then Biden, okay, or the people out there who voted for like George W. Bush in his first term, but John Kerry in his second term. So they're this group of American voters out there who can actually change their fucking minds. Because you can go back through history so many times and see where like single decisions here and there amongst like a minority of voters in the United States, because there's always what's the slogan? You're gonna have to tell me a third
Vote
time.
blue no matter who.
No, vote blue no matter who, or
Also,
vote red or
till you're
die.
dead.
Yeah, vote red till you're dead. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I haven't heard that version. It's more violent.
I think I just made it up. Yeah, I think we
Okay.
just.
Well, because it used to be better dead than red.
Well, yeah, but that was anti-communist.
Yes.
So, but yeah. But that would be like, okay, so you can lock all that shit in. So there's certain people out there, you'll never get them to vote for Jared Polis. There are certain people out there, they will never vote against him. so to
actually
speak.
would vote for him.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, I like
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, okay, so this is the statistic that I find interesting.
Okay.
Okay, I recently looked at this was how the electoral map would look if only blank voted.
Oh, it's fascinating.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I've seen that.
okay, so if only white men voted,
Right,
how many states do Republicans win?
all of them.
No.
Oh, really? Oh, no, that's right. So, because there's no way you're going to win California.
They win California.
They would win California.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
What they don't win, go a little bit further north, Oregon and Washington.
Okay.
They lose Vermont.
Yeah.
They split Maine and all 4 of their electoral
Well,
votes.
they're always split anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they lose Massachusetts and Rhode Island. Okay.
It's
If
kind of the same state.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay. What happens if only white women voted?
Probably not much.
Well, I'm going to tell you the states that flip.
Okay.
California,
Okay.
Colorado,
Yeah, I can see that.
that entire Midwestern section of Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois.
They flip blue?
Yep. And that is when New York flips. The entire Northeast flips.
Wait a minute. New York flips red?
New York flips blue.
But New York is a blue anyway.
Well, if
So
it
it
was
doesn't
It
really
was
flip.
read by the white men.
if it was just white men,
Oh, I got it.
then New York
Yeah.
goes red. If it's just women, then it goes blue, as well as basically the entire Northeast, minus like New Hampshire, right?
Wait a minute. Do they have one by age?
Did not look by age.
Oh, fuck. That would be way more interesting. So,
Let's put this this way. Okay. If only people of color voted, how many states are blue?
probably not as many as you think. So,
The answer is 50.
really?
All?
All of them. Yes.
I'm a little skeptical on that.
Every single state.
What's
goes-
your source here?
Well, it's
Is that just based on the actual vote counts?
yeah,
Oh,
basically
okay.
like the how you identify, right?
No, but is that actually based on the last election?
This was. I saved this. I can't remember. This was from like 6 months ago, but I
Okay,
saved
so-
it because I thought it was funny.
Yeah, no, that is pretty funny. But I'm all right. So my skeptical analytic brain is kicked in here now with that last finding there, because my question, and I don't know if you can answer this, but it would be: is that based on polling data, or is that based on actual vote tallies during whatever election it's based on? So, because if it's based on like, oh, okay, so 6 months ago we polled people, using this like
Right,
fucking Rasmussen or fucking whatever poll out there, and this is how people would vote based upon their ethnicity and stuff, as opposed towards this is the actual voter data. So
I believe it was the actual voter
Okay.
data.
Yeah.
But it was just isolated by that group.
yeah,
If only this group voted.
yeah. Well, I guess I can see the one people of color if you felt like you were a minority in a particular state.
Well,
They-
evidently it's all of them.
And well, yeah, I know, but see, like, I find that very difficult to believe in a state like Florida.
Florida.
Yeah.
Right.
Or Texas, or Arizona.
But that's the problem, is you have
Yeah.
to erase all other people except for minorities. People, okay?
Yeah.
Is that all minorities?
This one
Or
is
just
like
just
blacks.
blacks?
It was not just blacks. It was just it was I believe it was the term people of color,
Yeah.
which
Which some people of color find offensive and don't identify as such. So that's why they call it ethnicity instead.
yeah, people of
Yeah.
color. Well, look, there's the argument right there. It's like, do Asians count as people of color?
Oh, no, not even a little bit. According to the politically people of color, no.
Right.
Y'all don't count, yeah. Because
Well,
you guys are going to fucking take over Harvard, man. So...
well, yeah, because then the argument is, well, you are, depending on what you're mixed with, right?
Oh, well, yeah, but then you're not half black, half Japanese. You're black.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that I did finish that Murray book, and his argument about that is extremely good. About like being a person of color is an identification of your race. It's an identification of your politics. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Because they don't count like Herman Cain. They don't.
No, Kanye West isn't black. He's
Because
just
you get to pick and choose.
right, but it's more so along the lines of like, well, you're a race trader now.
Yeah.
It's all horseshit, man. Once you look at under the hood just a little bit and realize it's like, okay, there's such a thing as being politically trans or just trans. So like Caitlyn Jenner. So, and like many, many trans people who are like just show up at work tomorrow wearing a wig or growing their hair out, not really like saying, oh, well, fucking, you got to look at all my, like all my Facebook friends and, rally for me and we're going to go to this march and I want your support, blah, blah, blah. That's being politically trans. And then the same thing's true about being a person of color. So there's, like, yes, you can be Asian, all right, but considering that Asians make a shitload more money than even white people on average, all right, that makes you, like, well, no, that you don't understand the struggle because you're going to vote for Republican.
But they often don't.
No, I get that. They often don't, but still at the same point in time, if you do, then, obviously you're not Asian enough or something. So it's so bad, and it is so transparently obvious once, you kind of like just take a step back or two and realize it's like, oh wait, you guys are just agitating. Got it. All right.
Yes.
That's all you're doing. You're just agitating because you're upset about, these common themes that really do tie back to economic inequality, which is largely based upon a fucking myth. All right. So because income inequality in the United States isn't near as bad as people fucking think it is. So, it's stupid. So
No, you're right. And
and unions are dumb. So if you're talking to somebody who's been in 4 of them or 3 of them, shop steward in 2.
I was in the teachers union.
That's not a union, Jeff. It's an association. You don't even have the balls to call yourself a union.
That union couldn't break a kneecap on their best day.
They couldn't organize a spaghetti dinner on their best day.
We could, but that would be all the money. So it is the weakest ass advocacy that you can get, or spaghetti once a year. I would have been happy with the spaghetti because their advocacy is dog shit.
It's terrible. It's terrible. Yeah.
Yes, I guess I'll close with this because it has to do with teaching. So there's a new student I have that I'm fleecing, where
Cool.
yeah, exactly. So I had a bunch of them and like a bunch of like recommended ones, and like my time slots started getting filled up. So I was like, all right, well, I can't tell people not to come, right? So the only thing I can do right now is like, all right, well, I'm going to double my rates.
You should make them bid for them.
No, well, you've got a price. Okay?
Yeah, I get it.
And I mean, you can change that once they sign up, but I'm like, all right, unless you really want my services, I'm not going to talk to you. I don't want to. I got ranked as a super tutor.
Mm-hmm.
So like they thrust me into like the top 100.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I took my already high rates and I like doubled it.
Yeah.
Like, all right. And then people started signing up.
Man, I told you to do that like a year ago.
No, because there are times where you don't want to do that.
I understand
They
that.
don't want to do that. But on top of that, lately, they actually, in the past couple of months, they implemented if you have these numbers and these reviews, we give you a special badge.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And since people don't know what good tutoring is, okay, the badge makes all the difference.
Yeah, they don't know what they're buying.
Right?
It's just like buying jewelry. You got to ask an expert if it's any good.
But so I got one of these people to sign up, and she was a teacher in Taiwan.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And we were just talking shop a little bit from when I was, my last year, and she's like, why do people teach in the States? And I was like, well, all right. So you have people that do this because they feel like they're ethically bound to, like, I told you about this.
Yeah.
It's not the dummies. There's a small group in there, but it's mostly honors class kids.
Absolutely.
Right? Who think they're being noble and they're willing to take a pay increase. But mostly it's those people, plus you're married to somebody wealthy. Because
Or in the military.
right, because you can't afford it anyway. And she's like, wow, how much did you make? Well, I live in Colorado, and I looked up and I was like, cost of living here is this. My starting salary in my last year was $28,800.
Yep.
And she's like in Taiwan. She's like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, then she broke down their pay schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, but you also at that moment become a undefeatable pillar of the community.
You're a boss character?
She's like, so the minute you come in there, your word becomes law.
Right.
I was like, well, it's 3 years before you even have any protection in the system.
Right, yeah.
Right.
And they're going to INR you anyway because they don't want to pay you more. Yeah.
She's like, so why do you do it? Because you're married to someone rich and you feel like it.
Yep. Or you actually managed to make it to past your 3 years and then got really salty by the time you were about 8 to 10 years in. And then had to make a decision about whether you're going to go back to school and get your fucking master's degree so you could become an administrator, or if you were just going to take it out on your students for the next 25 years. So, yeah. Or you're going to like suddenly become like a soccer coach because you want the stipend. So,
All
yeah.
you teachers out there, please sign up today.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That
Yeah.
ringing endorsement right there should get
Oh,
you
man.
running.
I'm watching a girl bar go through it right now. And it's kind of like, go get him, Tiger. But you know, it's also like, man, I know where you're going to be in 4 years. I don't want to tell you about that right now. So you know, because you're smart, you're confident, you're capable, you're dedicated to your job. You're going to make it past your 3 years. So you're also a diversity. Well, I don't even think now she wouldn't be a diversity hire anymore. Being female doesn't help you being a teacher no more at all. So
Realistically, you're overrepresented by like 44%.
depends on the grade level, but yeah. So
Okay, so at the
yeah.
primary level, yes, 100%. At
Yeah,
the
yeah.
middle school level, like 33%. At the high school level, I think it starts to even out some.
Yeah, you probably still got a 10% premium now. So
Oh,
I
yeah,
would
because
guess
you need guys to go ahead and
college level, you're about -20.
Yeah.
So you're
Right.
No, I got you on that one. So yeah, much love to all the teachers out there. Go find a better job. So hey man, that's the only way you're gonna get paid more. Yeah.
Will.
I didn't mean to mic drop there. So your turn, man.
I don't have anything.
Hmm.
I don't know anything about this. So
I'm not gonna pick it up. Huh?
Well, okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Patrick?
I'm good, man.
Any final thoughts?
No, man, don't be a teacher. So
Okay, there's that.
definitely
Football.
don't get a master's degree to go be a teacher either. So you're never gonna pay that bitch off.
football preseason starts this weekend. I'm in.
Woo!
Oh,
Oh, yep. Ownership transfer official.
Yeah.
Saw that.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
yeah.
Well,
We're officially part of Walmart.
Yeah. I'm part of the Walton Empire now. So
We fucked up.
go support your local Walmart.
Walmart quits selling every other team merchandise.
That's what
Yeah.
or yeah, like
Oh, that'd be great. Well, it's Broncos universe, man.
sure, I wouldn't say like just stop selling, but it's like, well, I mean, yeah, you can buy this Falcons jacket for $400. Look at all this Broncos swag
Yeah.
over here.
It'd be funny if every like Walmart would be like Broncos swag and local swag because Republicans buy shoes too. So
Oh,
but you have the national franchise
Yeah.
brand now.
Oh my
Yeah.
god! What if you actually just labeled like fucking called it Democrat sports, and that's where you got like Seahawks shit and
Whoa.
like fucking 49ers crap.
Oh man. Yeah. I don't think anybody would be able to topple Cowboys and Empire even then though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Well, Yankees.
That's true.
Yeah, I know many Democrats who despise the Yankees, so I don't think that would work.
Well, I think there are plenty of Republican Yankee supporters too.
That's true. We might pick some up too.
They buy
So,
beer too.
They buy beer too.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Go Yankees! Postseason right around the corner.
Yeah.
All right, hitting the button. Oh wait, no, I'm Pat.
I'm Will.
I'm Jeffrey.
Now I'm hitting the button.